Hello, everyone. Today I have Rob. He's a comedian in New York. He's the founder of Joke Zoom, which is I want to talk with him how he started it because it's amazing for me, and I want to talk with him about it as well. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Muath. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much. I don't know. Like, I wish to know where dreams come from because I always dream people from Joke Zoom.
Oh, so you mean when you're sleeping, the dreams that we have when we go to sleep? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do they come from? I think there are little people, little fairies that come and visit you in the nighttime and they whisper in your ear and they say, "You must dream about Rob Cioffi tonight. Dream about Rob Cioffi. Dream about Muath." Now, I don't know. That's a good question. I have lots of dreams. I have you ever met a celebrity? Have you ever met a celebrity?
When they
Like a
ask me this,
famous.
yeah, when they ask me this question, I tell them I met who would say some famous terrorist. I haven't
Okay,
met
to
anyone.
terrorist.
If you count them as
one of one
celebrities.
of one of the bin Ladens. You met one of the bin Ladens, not the big one, but one of them. Yes. No. I I I never dreamt about celebrities until I met one. And then I met a celebrity. Now they fill my dreams every night. I hang out. Mostly it's famous comedians. And in my dream, they ignore me. They completely ignore me, which is really it's like reality, actually. But it's kind of the same thing. But yes, dreams are great. I think it's part of being creative. A creative person dreams a lot and I have very vivid dreams sometimes. They seem real to me, you know. I've never really written a joke from a dream though. I'd like to. I'd like to write a
Wow.
joke. I've actually dreamt about writing jokes in while I was dreaming, but they were never any good, which is very similar to when I'm awake. Don't really write good. Anyway.
Wow. That's exciting that you mentioned the point to write a joke from your dreams. That's really hilarious. But I have dreamed you in Yemen, and when I wake up, I was like, "Thanks God, it's just a dream."
Yes. Thank God. Yes. Okay. So
It's crazy. Would you consider
uh,
yourself that you've been to Yemen now?
say that again.
Would
Would
you
I like to go to?
would
Would I
you
go to?
no, no, no. Would you consider yourself that you have been to Yemen? Because I saw
Uh,
you in my dream
oh,
in
because you saw in the dream. I would not mind visiting. I like going different places. So, but Yemen, I guess it's better that you dreamed me there than an actually being there. So that's good.
Oh my God. But what's my favorite dreams that will come
What's
from my favorite dreams?
what is your favorite dream?
Yes, can I tell you?
Uh, oh, yeah. Go ahead. Sure, go
Give a
ahead.
try. Do you want to try one answer? You have one try.
I know what your favorite dream is.
Tell me.
Is a one way direct flight to Austin, Texas. I know that.
You won't
That is
believe
your
it.
dream. What?
I would have dreams with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk that we are hanging, and
Really?
especially with Joe Rogan, and that would be the opposite of nightmare. It would be amazing. And
Yes.
even the day after, when I wake up, I'm like, God, like I'm jumping out of the bed.
Yeah. Right. 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 It's like when I dream about Selma Hayek. Selma. She's an actress. She's very pretty. Hi, Selma.
Oh,
Hi, Selma. She's watching. Hi, Selma. How you doing? Anyway, so I love that you love Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan he's a great inspiration to pot smokers everywhere. But you he's also He's also a stand-up comedian. You know, he started as a stand-up comedian, and I know many people. He started. I don't know where he's from originally, but he was in New York for a long time, working as a comedian in New York City. So I know lots of people who knew him way back when, before he was worth $700 million. We're doing a stupid podcast in his garage. Can you believe that? I can see what you're doing. I see your plan now. I see your plan. Got it. 700 million US dollars. Not bad.
That's
Anyway, next question.
next. There is no next questions. It's
Oh.
just we are talking. You know, Rob, I also love to listen to Joe Rogan podcast because I learn a lot about comedy. So he would bring guests about science fiction talking or doctor, but then Joe Rogan would talk. So I would get some nice information. And the last good one is Joe Rogan. He's like, I don't listen to music. I would always listen to my comedy sets.
Oh, okay.
So from that day, I stopped listening to music. I would go to the gym and keep listening to my comedy sets.
Really? So you would record your comedy, and then it would be on your phone, and then when you were in the gym, you would play back your comedy. Did it make you go faster when you were running?
Okay.
I gotta get away from this joke.
Okay, I will be honest with you. So just to make it clear, not just in the gym, I try to make it lifestyle. I'm always just listening so I can like have fun with it. But you know that we are chemicals, and sometimes when I go to the gym, I really need music to get me like heated. So when I'm walking to the gym, I would listen to music and just to increase my, to get me like
get your adrenaline going.
Yes, I would listen.
Excited.
To Yemeni songs that like we are dying now. So it's like I'm going to perform in the gym. And then I would listen to the comedy just to come down so I can be in the middle, not bomb and not. So that's the plan. Yemeni.
I see. Okay. Well, I will say that I don't do it as a discipline, but I have recorded my sets, and then afterwards, like I'll go to an open mic, or I'll go do a show, and then I'll record it, and then on the ride home, when I'm driving home, I would listen to it. And I know a lot of comics who are very disciplined about that, where they listen to it and they count the number of laughs and how long people laugh for, and use that as a way to measure how good they were. Right. So I mean that you can go, I think you go off the deep end with that, and you could really do too much of that, but it's a good exercise. And I think listening back to what you're doing is always good, because it's not necessarily how you perceive it when you're doing it. You understand? When I'm up on stage, it might seem like I'm dying, nobody's laughing, I'm doing everything wrong, and I feel like that. But then I listen to it and I go, well, they were laughing, they were doing okay, I was doing okay. And the opposite is true. Oh, I did so great, I'm a fantastic comedian, everybody loves me. And then I listen to it and I go, holy, what happened? How did they not all walk out? Or how did they not kill me? Or throw rocks at me, get stoned like in Yemen, stoned in a bad way. Right.
That's funny. But what I like is the best thing is when I listen to Joke Zoom conversation, and that's why when I talk with you about Joke Zoom, I want to tell every comedian about Joke Zoom, because it's I feel so lucky that I meet Joke Zoom at the beginning, because if,
Hmm.
and I want to talk with you. I just want to say
Well,
now that when I listen to the recording of us talking in Joke Zoom, maybe I would listen to it one time, two time, and in the third time, an idea will pop up. Just when I,
hmm,
and it's so funny. I'm like, where did it come from? I just put some
hmm.
energy. I listen to it more. I try to hear what people say.
Right, right. So for those people who might be tuning in and don't know what JokeZoom is, what maybe I should explain a little bit about it. I it is a bit of a history. It's a little story. Is it okay if I tell a long story here?
I want to know
Okay.
everything. Me.
Okay. All right. Good. You want to hear it. So I'll tell it to you and we'll pretend no one else is listening because that's probably what's going to happen. Uh the 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 this came out of Joke Zoom is a online virtual video conferencing writers room for comedians to work on their own material. We help each other make our material funnier. Now, this started, as many things in the new order have, when COVID hit New York. Now, when COVID hit New York, we uh, we were told we could not perform in public anymore. Things were closed down for the safety of everybody, and I was kind of used to doing stand-up comedy shows, and I live in a place called Long Island, which is outside of New York City, but it's a big community. It's about 6 million people live on Long Island, so it's a big community, and lots of comedians in this community. And we all knew each other and we were all pretty close and we would see each other at these shows and we stayed in touch on Facebook and were jealous of each other's lives, like just like everybody else on Facebook, right? So I figured, well, how am I going to be jealous of everybody if I can't see them every couple of days? So I said, let's put a little thing together online. I have a technical background, so it was easy
Mm.
for me to do this. And I started out, there was probably 6 or 7 of us that would meet once or twice a week. And we would just go around the virtual Zoom room, and each person would say, "Okay, here's the material I have. I just got a dog, and the dog walks backwards. What can I do with that? Can I make that funny? Well, yeah, it was paint,
Yeah.
put a couple of eyes on its butt, and then we'll see what happens." So we did things like that, and what it turned out to be initially. Those were scary times here in especially in the early days of COVID. We all didn't know what was happening. People were dying. People were very sick. Nobody wanted to get sick. We were all afraid that that might happen, and it was a way of we had community, right? We could talk to each other. There was somebody, and we couldn't leave our houses. We couldn't go to the normal things we were doing. We had someone to talk to, so there was a social aspect to it. But I was very clear when I'm very happy that I made certain decisions in the beginning, right? I said we're not going to talk about the number one thing with Joke Zoom is we don't talk about politics. We don't get into political discussions. Now, obviously, we live in a political world and everybody is affected by politics to some degree. And it does bleed in a little bit, but nobody comes in waving a flag, hey, America first, or, communism for everybody. No, no, nobody's doing, nobody's doing that. Right.
Yeah.
And it made sense because the United States at that time, the United States is very divided politically. You've got people who are, as you know, you probably heard of this guy, Donald Trump. Donald Trump. He was the president of the United States.
Who doesn't know him?
He has a golden toilet. He's a lot of leaders in the Middle East. He's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking, right? A lot of golden things, golden spoons,
Oh
golden
my
toilets.
God.
And he was a very divisive figure. A lot of people loved him, a lot of people hated him. And that was, I didn't want to get in arguments. I really didn't want to get, I wanted us to get along, find things that we had in common. And, you know, ultimately jokes is what we have in common. We are humorists. We want to make people laugh. We like to laugh and we want to make people laugh. And with Joke Zoom, I made it very clear, no politics. Then the second thing is you must work on jokes. That's why we're here. We're here to work on comedy, right? And make our comedy better. And many times people come into comedy. Now, you are a good example of somebody who came to Joke Zoom and had really no real experience prior, right? You hadn't done stand up before, you hadn't had any real training, you didn't take a class, anything like that. And normally we don't let people in well, initially we didn't let people in like that. Now I'm more open to it because we're a more mature group and we can help people who are starting out. And I have some other groups that I'm running now that help brand new people. But we here to work on jokes and not big monologues. You know this, right? We work at one joke at a time, right? We say a joke. What is a joke? A joke is a setup and a punchline. It's a story with a twist, right? If a joke is more than 2 or 3 sentences long, it's probably too wordy. You've discovered this. I've seen you take a joke and you know that when you're first writing it, it goes very long and becomes like a story. And then ultimately the joke becomes 2 sentences, you know, yes, boom, boom, boom. And that's been my experience. Most jokes benefit from cutting down. The other thing we kind of do is we make sure everybody gets an equal amount of time. We divide the room by whoever's in it. Sometimes we get a lot of people and we go into these breakout rooms. And when they are there, people now I'm the founder of Joke Zoom. I'm the guy that started this. And and most people look at me as the big daddy, right? I'm the father. I'm father comedy,
Yeah.
right? Right.
Rob.
I'm the father. But when we break into the rooms, we have everybody picks a moderator, and it's equal. Everybody's equal. You go around the room, and everybody gets a chance, and it's incredibly productive. It really works. People, like you said, you get ideas from people, you give people ideas. And I have seen over the last year and a half, more than a year and a half now, people really come into their own as comedy creators, as writers of jokes. They're very good at it compared to where they were a year and a half ago, myself included. I've learned if anybody benefited from Joke Zoom, it's been me. I hear this often because we don't charge for Joke Zoom. Joke Zoom is free. And it's a daily, right now it's a daily meeting, except for Sundays, but every day we meet at least once. Sometimes we meet twice a day. And the idea, I don't charge for it on purpose because I want people to come in. I want this to be a community. I'm not interested necessarily in making lots of money off of Joke Zoom. And I am American, right? I am American, so I want to make lots of money. But I don't think Joke Zoom is. I have other ways in comedy to make money. I I want, and this might not be easy to understand, but I'm gonna make it as plain as possible. Joe Rogan is very famous, and Joe Rogan goes into a city and he gets a big theater and thousands of people come and watch him, and everyone says he is a star, he is a celebrity, he is a special person because he can do this, because he's funny. But the truth is, every human being is funny. Every human being in every way. When I'm sitting around with my friends and making them laugh, it's as special to me as if I was sitting in front of 10,000 people, standing in front of 10,000 people telling jokes. I It's a human thing to be funny. It's human. And most of us are not going to be stars. You're going to be a star. By the way, I'm hitching my wagon to Muaf. I am official. It's official. I am going to be when Muaf gets his first Academy Award. He's going to make sure you have to mention Rob Cioffi and Joke Zoom when you win in your acceptance speech. You're going to say, "Thank you, Rob Cioffi, for starting me out."
Yeah,
And,
you know, Rob,
yeah,
I want to tell you, joke Zoom. Some people are paranoid from the word addiction. So I'm addicted to joke Zoom, and this is good addiction.
yes.
So the good thing about joke Zoom is that if you, as you said, every human being is beginner, and there are too many people who think that every human being is funny.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who wants to start comedy, or they are even comedians.
Hmm.
Let's talk about people who want to start comedy, because that was me before.
Right.
It was the best place to first gain confidence, how to talk with other people, how to say your jokes, because you know your joke is not good. You are just trying to fix it. You are there to get better. So you start gaining confidence.
Hmm.
Communication. The second thing is different view and other people's opinion is so important, because they see it from different angle and they can give you so many funny ideas.
Hmm.
Now that I'm doing like comedy, now I'm doing like every day I would do like 4 open mics, 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like joke zoom is like the you know, when you start house, you have to build the foundation. So I
Foundation.
always
Right.
feel like it's my warm place. It's where I start from. And I feel like every time I have to come back to joke zoom and get ideas, too many ideas.
Right.
Even
Right.
now, wherever I start, even people who doesn't do, who is not great comedians, or people who've been doing comedy for 15 years, just being there and everyone just give his point. Some people
Hmm.
feedback is funnier than the, and I think it's about hustling. You have to go every day. It's not going to
Yes.
be perfect every day. You're not gonna get information every day, but you have to go every day. And also the records, you have to give them effort and energy. It put 1 hour in this record, listen it and listen it and listen it.
Mm.
So that's how I do it with joke zoom, and I'm very thankful for you. It's an
Well,
escape.
I couldn't tell you uh, the value that someone like you brings into Jokesum, because your point of view. Again, I live on Long Island in New York, and you know this. Many of the Jokesum people, not all, not even most now, many of them are live in Long Island or live in New York City. And we all kind of have the same point of view, the same experiences. So here we have you, a young man from who grew up in Yemen, which is probably the farthest place culturally from New York there could be, right? Coming in and finding common ground, finding that we're all laughing at the same thing. And why? Because there's something universal about it. There is something good that really, this is funny for everybody. And so it's, and we have not only you, we have people from places as far away as New Zealand, Japan,
Yep.
Europe, right? Many people in now. I know you're in Europe right now, but it's people in
Germany.
Germany. We have Germany. We have Ireland. We have We've had a few people from India. We had somebody from what's that song that Led Zeppelin does? Kathmandu. No, that's Bob Seger. But Kathmandu, we had somebody from Kathmandu.
I never heard
Uh,
this place.
yeah, Kathmandu is in India. In India,
Okay.
right? It's in India, but it's all these places. It's amazing to me how diverse things are, and how universal, how everything's funny can be funny to everybody. So yes, again, joke Zoom. If you let's imagine that somebody watching this right now has not done stand-up comedy before, but wants to do stand-up comedy. Deep down, they want to do stand-up comedy. I want to talk to them for a second. Okay. I was you. I was you. When I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was enthralled with stand-up comedy. I loved music. I loved movies, but I was a stand-up comedy worshiper. I loved stand-up comedy. And I actually grew up in a time there was a comedian. You may have heard of him. His name is Eddie Murphy. Have you ever heard
Yeah.
of Eddie Murphy? Yeah, Eddie Murphy is from Long Island and is a little bit older than me, but about the same age. And Eddie Murphy became a huge stand-up comedian in a matter of few. He was 21, 22 years old, and he was world famous, right? And I said to myself when I was 20 or 21, I'd like to be a stand-up comedian, but I did not have the courage to do it. I did not have the courage, or I thought I didn't. And there's the rub. There is the thing that I was wrong about. You have the courage to do this. If you can get your feet to move and walk into a comedy club or into a open mic, or get on the computer now and go on Joke Zoom, or go into one of the virtual mics that you run and just do it. You have it's not as scary as you think. It's all in your head, and you're funnier than you think. It may not come out at first, and it takes work. Like you said, you have to build a foundation. You have to understand the basics of comedy. There are lots of universal things that every comedian, if you break down you watch The Simpsons, a show that's very popular in the United States, you may have seen it, right? It's a cartoon. They use very funny, but use principles. Every comedian uses a lot of the same principles. Once you know those things, you have the basic building blocks of comedy. You can create your own, right? That's funny. That works for everything, for everybody. I was 21, 22. I wanted to do this badly. Never had the nerve.
Oh my God.
I waited till I was 42. 42, right? Double your life almost, right? 42 years old. And I'm glad I did it. I'm very glad I did it. And I'll tell you, it's never too late to start. I have gone on an amazing journey, amazing things. I'm not famous. I'm not rich, certainly. I have never really even went home with a girl after a show. Never wanted. No girls ever wanted to go home with me, right? But the truth is, I have had more fun and done more amazing things and met amazing people. I've met very famous comedians. And what's interesting about that is when I've met them, even though I'm not famous, they respected me because I was doing what they do. And they know that once you get past that, it's very scary to do stand-up comedy. Very scary for people. But once you do it and you can do it well, you have the respect of people like Jerry Seinfeld. I could be standing next to Jerry Seinfeld, and Jerry Seinfeld would say, "Hey, I respect you. You're very poor, but I respect you,
Mm.
right? Because I am very rich, because I am Jerry Seinfeld. But I still respect you as a comedian." And I've gotten to see, again, even just on just doing shows in my local bars, like open mic shows. I did an open mic last night with some of my friends, some of them new, some of them old. And we had an amazing time. The bar, there's about 20 people in the bar, 20 people. And everybody was laughing. It was like I was on my own TV show. It was great, right? And the things that's what's great about comedy is it doesn't have to be all about being famous or doing like look what you're doing. Look how much your fun you're having in your virtual open mics on the Zoom mics that you do, right? I'm sure you're having lots of fun when you do those,
It's
right?
hilarious.
Right. Yeah, it's hilarious. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And why is it hilarious? It's not so much that it's hilarious like you're sitting back watching, it's because you're doing it and you're watching other people do it and you know what it's like to do it, you know? Uh, and again, just to get back for a second to Joke Zoom, if you are interested in doing it, it's very simple to sign up to Joke Zoom. You go to jokezoom.com and there's a big button that says sign up and you'll fill out a form and if in a day or so you'll get a reply and you'll get information on how to start attending meetings, right? Very so you did this, right? How did you find JokeZoom? Do you remember how you found JokeZoom?
Can I tell you also a little story?
Okay, sure, go ahead.
So to be honest, I applied to go to Canada as a student before we do this now.
Mm-hmm.
But the lawyers told me and everyone, they told me that the student is not guaranteed. They might also reject it. But
Mm-hmm.
because when the officer see for student, he's trying to make sure that you will leave the country after you study.
Right.
But if you are going there as sponsor, they are just making sure that there is really relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let me try my chances to go as a student.
Right.
And I worked for it around 6 months. I brought all the documents. I brought bank statements, work contract. I give them I pay the most expensive lawyer in Toronto, like the best, one of the best. Even my lawyer, after they rejected my student visa, she told me we can take it to the court, appeal,
Mm-hmm.
because she say you brought everything. And that's when it broke my heart, and I felt that there are too many people who cannot do it, even if they bring everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just no, you're not getting in,
Right.
even if you bring all the documents from the world.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I have relationship with my girl, but not
Mm-hmm.
everyone will date or fall in love anyways. So I was broken, just not just about myself, just to see how this situation, how life is unfair game.
Mm-hmm.
And then my girl now, she has to go back, and we are in long distance relationship.
Yeah.
But that's why I say to myself, don't be scared, because when they told me no, I cried, and I was I was like, it's lockdown, it's COVID, she's going.
It's
I don't have friends.
it's depressing.
After
It's
I
very
found
depressing.
after I found Joke Zoom and comedy, I swear to God now, Rob, I'm like, I was lucky that they rejected me, because I'm here, the weather is amazing, I'm next to the sea. In Toronto, there is lockdown. Here, I do everything. I'm alone, and I'm happy that I'm alone as well. So now I feel like I'm like, fuck, what if I'm in Toronto now? Maybe I won't even find these jokes, these
Right.
ideas.
Well,
It's
isn't that
planned.
interesting how very interesting how what we think we want isn't necessarily what we'd like, what ends up being what we should have, right? So we're good. Like this is good. So you found Joke Zoom in the when you were very things were unhappy for you, and it gave you a little bit of hope, a little bit of hope. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. I just want to bring hope to the world and a good joke. And maybe you can buy me a cup of coffee when you know.
But I didn't answer your question. You told me how did I find Joke Zoom. So
Yeah,
I was so desperate. And that's why when you have nothing to lose, you don't care. So I was desperate, and I felt that because people get surprised. I found comedy 1 year ago. Like in Yemen, there is like 33 million. This was the last time we count the population in 2000. Maybe it's more or less. But we don't
yeah,
know
right.
about comedy. We don't know
No,
about this art. So
no,
when I,
nothing funny about Yemen. Yes,
yeah.
right.
So when I found comedy, and I also the love for Joe Rogan, I felt that
Yes.
and I'm always funny. Before I found comedy, I always like to make my friends laugh. So
Mm.
when I found comedy, I was like, comedy find me. I didn't find comedy. I've been comedian all my
Ah,
life. I'm the funny guy in the university. All my friends would use me for like comedy. If there is party or anything, they would be invite the funny guy. I'm always the nice guy to hang out with. So I felt comedy because I also opened two businesses before. I opened shop, I work here and there, but the feeling of comedy never find it. So I go to Google and I'm like, uh, comedy. I don't know. I just write comedy and jokes don't show up. I don't even know what I search. I go in and I see that it's comedians, your condition. And my girl, she's like, my girl is Canadian. She always
mhm.
follow the rules. Me, I always. So she's like, look, the right, no, you cannot go. You have to have two shows. You didn't have two shows. I'm like, okay. I go to the room and I'm like, fuck it. I don't give up.
Right.
I
Good.
see that, and then you accept me. I did the
The
test, the
test. Yeah.
exam.
Right.
I
We
passed,
have
and
a
I
little
come.
exam.
Yeah, and I come out. I'm like, see, I'm in. She's like, okay, that was good.
I've got, and I'll tell you, if it'd been 6 months before, I probably would not have let you in. But because I really wanted to work with people who understood a little bit about comedy. But and you said it before, and it's so true. It's about the hustle. It is about the commitment that you make to work at what you are doing. You work every day. And you are a great example of that. You work every day at this. You have thrown yourself into this. And I applaud you. I look at you and I say to myself, here is an example for others who want to do comedy. Look at what Muath has done in a mere 6 months of you haven't even been coming to Joke Zoom for 6 months, I don't think. Probably 6 months, right? So that you anyone can do this if they want to. They're willing to put the work in, right? So, and you're a great example of that. And we have many others on Joke Zoom. I mean, most of the people on Joke Zoom are very serious about comedy. If they stick around, they're not joking about it. They're taking it very seriously. No pun intended. But I would say, as far as you going to Canada and that experience, I'm sorry to hear that experience, but it's probably the experience of a lot of people. And you have to make the most of what you have, right? So you're in Cyprus now, like you said, you're by the water, it's sunny, right? You got
I'm
lots of
alone.
free time. You're alone, right? Yeah, which is good and bad, and it's good and bad. Uh, but and then you have a goal. You have a goal. You know where you want to go. You know that eventually you're going to get to Austin, Texas, and Joe Rogan's gonna knight you. He's going to say, "Yes, you will be my successor.
We will eat elk together
You will eat elk.
from his hunting.
you'll eat elk and drop DMT together. That's right." Oh my God. My God. I really think you have a lot of potential. And I love your enthusiasm. I love the fact that you have that fuck it attitude, right? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And you're not a bad, you know what? There's a lot of folks in show business, and you'll find this out, um, that they don't care about anybody but themselves. They really don't. And that's true for everybody. Everybody ultimately at their core, I come first, right? If it's going to be me or you, it's going to be me. But in show business, there's a lot of not helpful people. You genuinely like people. I can see that. You like to talk to people. You care about people. And that is a big, big factor in success, especially in what you want to do. Be the podcaster, be the communicator, right? And then, you're young and handsome, you bastard, son of a bitch, fucking young. I wish. I wish. When I was your age, I was beautiful. I was beautiful. They loved me. Look at me now. But you have all these things. And again, even if you don't, I mean, for the people that are listening, listening in the here now, who might look like me, God forbid, and be as old as me, God forbid, or older, or uglier, I can't imagine. But you can do this. You can have fun with this. This could be all about you. You could make, I mean, it could change your life. It changed my life. Stand-up comedy changed my life. And it's not so much that I became rich, famous. No, how I feel about myself. And that I can go into any situation. I can go to the grocery store, and I can make the checkout person laugh at me, and that makes my day. That makes me feel good. I like that.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? You like that, right? And comedians are special people, professional comedians, people who take this seriously. They are special people, and they add to the world. They make the world a better place. Because the world is, and you know this, and more than probably most people, the world is a miserable place a lot of the time, right? It's not. Everybody's living in their own Yemen, right? So everybody's got their own Yemen to deal with.
Oh my God.
Right? You know what I mean? As great as it is there for you right now, you still have problems every day. You wake up and wish things were different for some things every day. And and everyone has that. When people come to a comedy show, for that hour, 2 hours, they get relief. I don't have to think about my problems. I don't have to think about my bills or my family or my job or anything. I can laugh at this guy because he's making me think about things that are funny as hell. Right. And that's our job. Our job is to do that, is to make people's lives better. My friend Bob Nelson, who's a very famous comedian here in the United States. He says he's a healer. He's like a doctor. They say doctor. Yes, your
Yeah.
doctor is. Laughter is the best medicine, they used to say, and that's what we do. We're doctors of comedy. We're doctors of comedy. I forget what he said. He's got a funny joke about it, but I forgot it. Anyway, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would say not doctors. I would say this is my own. So we are in a way chemicals, and comedy, you are actually increasing the other person dopamine. So
The dopamine. Okay,
so you so
you're really going Joe Rogan on me, aren't you? Yeah.
No,
Okay.
so
The
now when I do
dopamine.
my open mic, I'm like, guys, this comedian will give you big dose of dopamine, and then some comedians will come. I'm like, guys, we're gonna have more dopamine than we need because this comedian is here. So you are actually increasing someone chemicals, and the higher
Yes.
you are, the more chemicals. And I think that's what you have to do to be good rider, to be good drugs doser. Try to
Right.
make more dopamine in people and find the way to do that.
Right.
So
Right. Well, it
I
also helps if you can get him a couple of sticks of Pineapple Express. You know what I'm talking about? If you want a chemical, you want to get them chemical. The Pineapple Express there. Anyway.
oh
Right.
my God. You know, Rob, I wanna tell you, see, for me, it feels different when you don't have access to some ideas and some lives, and then when you find it, it becomes the best thing that ever happened to you, and so you value it because you also even think, wow, what if I didn't listen to Joe Rogan podcast? Wow, what if I didn't just go to Google and search? For example, my dad, I don't think he's a bad person. And I feel
Mhm.
so sorry for him. Maybe I'm the fucked up one, but
Right.
that's how I think. And I'm not married to my ideas. If someone thinks that my dad is better, I agree with you. And maybe after
Okay.
10 years, I would see this podcast and be like, you are so, but it's okay. That's how I feel now. And
Mhm.
I feel so sad about my dad, like so sorry. And I feel that I could be my dad.
Really? Yeah. Mhm.
If I didn't maybe listen to Joe Rogan podcast, or if I grew up where he grew up, I just come in different time and I meet maybe the right girl. I had more access. I think it's just different timing, and that's why you shouldn't take people personal, but you should be aware.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I tell you, you sound like a very wise young man. This is very wise that you know that you may change your point of view, but you stay honest to how you feel, right? And
And
then I think you're a little overboard on Joe Rogan, myself, and you probably 10 years from now you'll probably have a different opinion about him, probably because you'll have met him and he's very short. He's not very tall.
they tell
He's
me
not
like,
very. I think he's like 4'7".
that's
He's a
funny.
little guy. No. Okay. Hi, Joe. How you doing, buddy? I'll do your podcast. Put me on with Tim Dillon. I'll do it. I'll go on with Tim Dillon. Uh, but seriously, I mean, this is we all comedy. This is another thing that comedy does very well is it will influence people's thinking, and it will make you think of things that you not have thought of before. Now, whether they're right or wrong, I don't know, but it is. I know that there's a very famous comedian here in the United States named George Carlin, who Joe Rogan loves. I know Joe Rogan
I
loves
love
George Carlin.
him. I love
But
him.
yeah, right. Yeah. So here's a guy that makes you think, right?
I
I
love
wouldn't agree. I don't agree with everything he says, but he makes you think.
Yep,
And that's another role that comedians have, is that we can speak the truth sometimes where other people can't.
I
Right.
love it. This,
Yeah, right. So if you stay true to yourself and you speak your truth, no matter how much people might not like, your parents might not approve of it. Well, you're not a child, you're an adult. you know I mean, if you were 14 years old and coming to me and saying, I want to be Joe Rogan and do these, I'd say, well, listen to your parents, shut up. But you're not, you're an adult, right? That. So you just, I'd say, I when I was your age, I had some messed up ideas, but on the same token, I was like you. I knew
mm,
I could things can change for me.
mm.
So, and they will, but you'll navigate this. You're going to be you're the Middle Eastern Pete Davidson. I see this. I see you becoming. You're going to be dating Kardashian soon enough. Watch. I bet you.
No, I'm gonna stick to my girl.
You
Um,
stick to your girl, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're recording this. I forgot. Yeah, stick to your girl.
Come on.
I'm
Okay.
kidding. It's a joke. Relax. Don't get excited. It's a joke. Uh, all right. So I guess we're getting close to the end. Is there anything you wanted to hear about me?
Okay, I wanted to open some, just tell you that my dad used to be still, but now because of the problems he would get killed. But my dad used to be a very strong speaker. He would make people cry like this. So,
Really?
oh
Okay.
my God, too many people used to come to where my dad would speak in the mosque. That was one of the busiest mosques. And when my dad talked to people, he changed their, like, as you said, like, but to what? To be more strict and to work more for heaven.
Yes.
So I'm
Well,
doing the opposite.
you have, but here's the thing. You are your father. You have his skills. You have things that the things that moved. He was able to speak and move people and make them cry and make them laugh. You do it, you will make them laugh. So I mean, look at it that way. He gave you a great gift. He gave you a great gift
Mm,
because you are. I mean, you're very good. We have a lot of ladies in Jokesum. A lot of ladies in Jokesum. And all the ladies love Muath. They all love Muath. They always say to me, that Muath is funny. Wink, wink. So, but I'm saying what you have is in the United States, we would say you have TV ready looks. You're ready for TV. You're young, you're handsome, you're well spoken, you're confident, all of these things. Now you just have to get funny for TV. You have to get all your jokes perfect. And you could come to the United States and you could be very successful. I always compare you to a comedian, and this is going to get me in trouble, I'm sure. There's a comedian named Yakov Smirnov. He was from the Ukraine, but he says he was from Russia, and he speaks in an accent, like you have an accent, he has an accent. And in the 1980s in the United States, Russia was the enemy, right? So there's a parallel here, because I mean, now since 9/11, we don't want to really talk much about it, but since 9/11 in the United States, we look, well, and these in Islam, these radical Muslims, these people, we look at them and go, oh, well, they're the, well, you could be the Yakov Smear. You could actually make people think twice about that because you're interesting and funny, and you could be, I don't know. Then again, don't.
Hunter. I want to
I
hunt.
don't know. I don't know who's listening to this right now. I think we're going to get all in trouble. Somebody just went, okay,
Yeah.
start pushing buttons. Anyway, that's a silly thing. You be yourself. Don't worry about Yakos. He is very rich. Very rich. Very got lots of money. But be yourself. Just be yourself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much from your time. Maybe we can wrap it up, and
Okay.
so we can get also less troubles with the world. I also I also want to tell you that I do enjoy hanging out with old people
Okay.
much more than young people because they give me different perspective from life. When I also hang out with you, I can make different decisions. I can see life that look, there is an end. You need to watch
Mhm.
out. You need to be careful. I also like that when people are old, usually, or most of the time, when they see young people, they try to be honest with them and they try to give, and you can feel it. Some
Yes.
people will be bad forever, but most old people would try to, they see you as, even if they did mistakes, now they are trying, they are just. So I'm very grateful to have this podcast with you, and I'm very grateful that you allowed me to joke Zoom. I just want you to know that this is like I don't know what to say in words. You see, my English is still not good to explain
Well,
what's
you
in my
know,
head,
well,
but I hope you feel it.
I can feel what you're saying. So thank you, and I want to thank you for inviting me onto your podcast because I really do believe in your podcast. I think you're doing a wonderful job with your podcast. I think it's going to be a great success. But more importantly, I'm very happy that you chose Joke Zoom and that you continue to use it because you really do make it special for us. So thank you, Moaf. And then remember to thank me when you win awards and get lots of money for doing your comedy. Okay.
Sure.
Rob Cioffi. Thank you. You could send me a few dollars too once in a while.
I,
All right. All right. All right,
I love
buddy.
you, Rob. Thank you
I
so
love you
much.
too, man. All right. Take
See
care.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.